Hey, everybody out there, welcome to the Social English Podcast. And today we have another English repair shop episode where I and you will help a Japanese person learn English. Let's get started.
皆さんこんにちは。毎日少しずつ社交に使える英語の上達を目指すソーシャルイングリッシュポッドキャストへようこそ。今日はぜひもっと自信を持って英会話してみましょう。Are you ready, Percy? Let's go!
Hey, Hikari. Percy here. Thank you for that intro to the show. Hey, everybody. And like I said before, this is the Social English Podcast. And welcome back, those of you that are listening. And return listeners, and those of you that are new listeners, yes, I did get a cat, so you might be hearing the cat in the background. But this podcast is to help you learn real social English, real spoken English from my country, America, and to assist you in that. Today, we're doing an English repair shop episode, and in the English repair shop episodes, we help Japanese people with their English. So we are going to have my friend Ko tell you exactly how we do that.
すべての英語修理店のエピソードと同様に4つのパートがあります。パート1では英語を勉強している日本人が間違って言ったことを正確に聞くことができます。パート2では会話型のソーシャルイングリッシュスタイルで正しい英語を聞くことができます。パート3ではパーシーはあなたが同じ過ちを犯さないようにするために彼が重要だと考えるヒントをあなたに与えます。パート4でパーシーは正しい英語版を高速で自然な速度で言います。このようにしてネイティブの速度で英語を聞く練習をすることもできます。
Okay, everybody, let's get into it. All right. Thanks a lot, Ko. That is the format. So in these episodes, we're going to go ahead and do it like he said in Japanese in 4 parts. Remember, this is a real request from a Japanese person who's having trouble with English. Okay? So this is a real person. This is not fake. This is a real person. So how do we do this? How will I do this? Well, there are going to be 4 parts. Okay? In part 1, I will just read the wrong English from the Japanese person. In part 2, I will read it the correct way in a social English style so you can understand what real social English is. And in part 3, I will give you my tips, my tricks, my hints on how to do this and how to increase your social English, especially with today's wrong English. Okay? And then in part 4, that's going to be the social English natural native speed. Okay, part 4 is natural native speed. So you can hear and listen to a native speaker, me, and how I say these words in the correct English, correct social English, but at a natural speed so you can listen and practice listening to a native speaker. Okay, so that's it. 4 parts. So first, let's get started with part 1. Okay, everybody out there, let's get started with the social English, but we're going to do the part 1. So this is part 1. This is the wrong English. Please listen very closely. 聞いてください. Okay, that means please listen carefully. Okay. My Canada's life is good, but I sometimes feel tired. I want to go healing place. Actually, I often go to Okinawa alone when I feel stress in Japan. I want to find there in Vancouver. Do you have recommend place? I like nature and beach and place where can feel nature. Okay. First, I want to say that this is really good because this person tried. I can see they tried. So when you are learning English, you are learning languages, I think the thing you need to understand is try. Try to practice the language. Don't use Google Translate or DeepL or any of this. Just try to practice to the language. Try to practice learning, listening to the language, and you will get better at it. Okay? Just little by little, practice the language. You will hear it more. You will understand it more. You will get better. Yes? Okay? So just practice, okay? Everyone out there, practice, practice, practice. For my listeners right now, I have a question for you. Can you tell me what mistakes you hear? Okay? I'm going to read it again one more time for you so you can hear these mistakes again. My Canada's life is good, but I sometimes feel tired. I want to go healing place. Actually, I often go to Okinawa alone when I felt stress in Japan. I want to find there in Vancouver. Do you have recommend place? I like nature and beach and place where can feel nature. Okay. So, wow, there's a lot, okay? So let's go into my social English correction. This is the correct English. So let's start with part two of social English, okay? This is the correct version, okay? Okay. My life in Canada is good, but sometimes I feel tired. I want to go somewhere to heal. I used to go to Okinawa when I had a lot of stress. I'd like to find a place like that in Vancouver. Can you recommend a place like that? I like nature. I especially like beaches. Okay? So that is my social English. That is the correct English way to say that. Okay? Please rewind and listen to it again. Okay? Now, let's go into this let's go into this again. We're going to go into the My Canada's Life part. Okay, we're going to go into that again and we're going to see what that's all about, okay? So, here are my part 3, These are my hints, my tips, my tricks on how to go ahead and do this, okay? So let's get into it. Let's go into it. Here are my tips, tricks. My Canada's life is good, but I sometimes feel tired. Okay, so you would just say my life in Canada. Change Canada and with life. Okay, so not my Canada's life. My life in Canada is good. Okay, so let's give another example. Spain. My Spain's life is good. No, my life in Spain is good. You can even say, my life in Spain is good right now. Okay? You can add right now. And let's go into the next one. Or here's another example. My America's life is good. Now, I know many of you are studying English by going to university in countries such like America. So, what you don't want to do is you don't want to say anything like my America's life or something like that. Instead, you just want to say my life in America. Okay? Let's move to part two. Not part two, but another hint. Okay? Okay, so let's go into another hint. Okay? I want to go healing place. Okay? Again, we're going to change place and flip it around with healing. So we're going to have, I want to go to a place to heal. Okay? So we're not going to say healing place, a place to heal. Okay? I want to go to a place to heal. That's what we're going to say there to change that around. I want to go to a place to relax. I want to go to a place to chill. I want to go to a place to have fun. Okay? So we want to say, we want to switch healing place. We want to put the place first. Okay? Okay. Now, let's see. Next. This is a very strange one. Actually, I often go to Okinawa alone when I felt stress in Japan. So, to Japanese people listening, please understand, to everyone else that's not from Japan, okay, this does not make any sense. This is baka, bakahatsu. No idea what you're talking about, okay? Because to everyone else, Okinawa is part of Japan. So you don't say, I want to go to Okinawa when I feel stress, because you are, to everyone else, it's inside Japan. It's part of Japan. So it is very strange. Here is another example. So maybe you can understand, okay? Listen to this. I often go to Hawaii when I feel stress in America. I often go to California when I feel stress in America. I often go to LA when I feel stress in California. Okay. So, yes, if you are talking to a Japanese person, this makes sense, maybe. But when you talk to an English speaker, for example, if you are talking to college friends or you're somewhere in a different country and you talk to some people, introduce yourself. And you're in Canada and you meet someone and it's interesting and you make friends, you make a friendship. This is hard to understand. So please don't use that. Just say, I often go to Okinawa alone when I feel stressed. That's all. I used to, I often went to Okinawa when I feel stress. Okay, so it just depends, but don't say in Japan at the end. Okay, now let's go ahead and go through the last part. This is part 4, my social English speed, fast speaking style. Okay, let's get into it. I'll try to make this one sentence I will try to do this very clearly. I will try. Please listen. Please listen. One very important thing is you must listen. Okay? Listen and play it again. So let's go to part 4. Okay. My life in Canada is great, but sometimes I feel tired and I want to go to a place to heal. I often go to Okinawa alone when I felt stress. I'd want to find a place like that in Vancouver. Do you have any recommendations? I like nature and places like the beach. Okay? So I'll do that again, maybe just a little bit faster. Okay? Here we go. My life in Canada is good, but sometimes I feel tired. I want to go to a place to heal. I often used to go to Okinawa alone when I felt stress. I want to find a place like that in Vancouver. Do you have any recommendations? I like nature and beaches. So I'd like to find a place like that.
このショーを気に入っていただけたら5つ星のレビューをぜひお願いします。コメントは英語か日本語でお書きいただければ喜んで読ませていただきます。リアルソーシャルイングリッシュ .com にアクセスしてぜひ無料でダウンロードしてください。ほとんどの日本人の英語を勉強している人がやってしまいがちな7つの間違いとその正しい言い方。また毎日英語を上達させるのに役立つ資料もたくさんあります。Apple Podcast、Google Podcast、Stitcher、そして今はパンドラでもポッドキャストを購読いただきます。支援者になっていただけませんか？私たちがこのショーを作るための支援として5ドルの寄付をお願いできませんか？今後のエピソードで感謝の気持ちをお伝えします。また、そこでしか利用できない新しいコンテンツも入手できます。patreon.com/socialenglish からご参加ください。ソーシャルメディアで私たちのポッドキャストを友達にシェアしたり、Twitter、Facebook、Instagram のフォローをお願いします。
Okay, everybody out there, thanks for listening to the Social English Podcast. Yeah. So that was this episode. Okay, today we talked about how to talk about you living in Canada and things you like to do. What I want you to do for your action item today is I want you to talk to a friend, or better, meet a new friend or a new person and have a conversation. Tell them about things you like to do. Actually, this is something I talked about in another episode of this podcast. I actually talked about this in episode 173. For the second time, I think. Oh, no, that's the first time. So in episode 173, I talked about this. This is recreation. Telling people about things you like to do. It's part of the Ford method. It's part 3 of the Ford method. If you did not listen to that, go back to episode 170. 170, and you can listen to the Ford method. 170, 171, 172. Yeah, go back, listen to that. It is probably one of the best series I did on speaking social English so far. I have many things else to talk to you about, but that's one of them. So yes, it will help you create conversations. It will help you talk to people. It will help you speak English. Okay? So go back and listen to that. Okay, other than that, once again, please listen to us on the podcast. Rate us on Apple Podcasts. I'd really appreciate that. It helps out this show. And you have a great day. Peace and love.
今日は楽しい時間をありがとうございました。ぜひ私たちのウェブサイト realsocialenglish.com を訪問して日本語訳と役立つ情報を手に入れてください。また次回お会いしましょう。バイバイ。See you next time. Bye bye.